And we're back with the new health. And back with us today is Dr. Cheng Ruan from the Texas Center for Lifestyle Medicine. Thank you so much for coming back.
Thanks a lot for having me here.
So today I would love to speak a little bit about healthcare and AI. I know there's a lot of fear in that space on both sides, especially for patients and wondering what that might mean, and providers for concerns of how AI is going to integrate for their work.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I want to kind of address the elephant in the room, which is the fear of artificial intelligence. So AI has been around for decades, to be honest with you, right? And even in the MTV era, where they shot the original Real World, and the original TV programming algorithms were teaching them what scenes to shoot and how to keep the viewers engaged. So the TV programs are already kind of manipulated at that time, and even filmmaking right now is quite different. And the quickest way to affect somebody is visual and auditory stimulus, right? Mm-hmm. That's what TV is. Now it's computers and such. Well, fast forward to now, I think people really are starting to understand AI, and therefore they feel it. They feel it and they fear it, actually, is because we have social media algorithms, TikTok, YouTube, et cetera, right? And plus, we now have the ability to harness it in its own raw power with things like ChatGPT, Claude 3.5, and all these different, what we call large language models. So large language model just means that this is a system that's learned from all human language. And so, but the thing is, like, AI is used in marketing a lot. It's used in banking systems and finance. Why isn't it used in healthcare very much? Because healthcare really has to be updated. And so about a year ago, my good friend, Dr. Ravi Hariprasad, which is a Harvard-trained psychiatrist, and also a brilliant tech engineer, really famous for creating the original engine that is running Find My iPhone. A lot of people use that, right? So we teamed up together to make our initial version of this that runs the healthcare system. And so it's called Intuitive Mental Health, and it's really designed to tease out senses of isolation and loneliness in people. When we first ran the program, we had a conference called AI in Healthcare about October of 2023. We released the first 3 cases, and we found that the AI was impeccable at analyzing the tone of how people were speaking and potential suicidal ideation, mental health challenges, and et cetera, right? I thought I was pretty good, but the AI is better. So, but what it does is that it elevates my role. I can take care of things earlier. We can create systems around people. So did we find people who I've known for years who had daily domestic violence that I never asked about? Yeah. Do we find people who had a lot of planning when it comes to suicidality? We found someone who just bought a gun, and the AI teased that out. But the thing is, the AI is not just there. The AI is actually enhancing the interviewer. So most of these patients were being interviewed by a health coach, not a physician, initially, to get a sense of what they really want. The AI is able to do that. Plus, when patients come in with 300 pages of data, which we have, like hospital systems and records, in 15 seconds, the AI can analyze it, and I can ask the AI, hey, give me the gist of this, like what I really need to know, right? So it helps retrieve the information. It's called augmented retrieval, or retrieval augmented data sets, right? So that's what the techies call it. And so that's just the start of it. And now AI has completely transformed healthcare, because AI scribing is doing a better job than human scribing now, and is actually far more detailed. And now when doctors communicate with the notes, all doctors want AI-generated notes now when it comes to progress notes, so we can collaborate, communicate with the patients. Like the old typing stuff, like no one likes it anymore because there's so much uncertainty around it. I think it leads to the embetterment of the actual healthcare system in its current state right now.
So I went to a conference not that long ago about AI in healthcare, and I know a concern that a lot of providers had was, what if there's an error? But the truth is that AI has less error than human error. Is that correct?
Yeah, so this is a phenomenon called hallucinations, and AI hallucinations are a pretty common thing, especially out of the box like ChatGPT and stuff like that. But believe it or not, we as a system at Texas Center for Lifestyle Medicine and integrating with intuitive mental health and my business partner Ravi, we've come up with AI systems that develop that has little to almost no hallucinations, which is great, right? But the hallucinations also is because the AI is taught a certain thing. The AI is taught if something is right or wrong. So if the AI is taught something is right or wrong, it will make stuff up.
Okay.
But what happens is that you can prompt the AI to have different value systems. You can teach the AI how to think, and my buddy Ravi taught me this. Once you teach the AI how to think, not what to think, it's a game changer. And so what we did is that we allow the AI to learn from philosophy, ancient philosophy, that there's no right or wrong, there just is. I'm Chinese, I'm a big fan of the Tao. The Tao Te Ching is the book, which is a philosophy that there's no right or wrong, there just is, and everything is a pattern, everything happens because of something else, but the universe will kind of correct itself. So when that happened, and the AI understands that concept, philosophically, the AI, almost like the AI doesn't need to lie. It doesn't need to hallucinate anymore, right? And so effectively, that is what created the first version of AI that I created for physicians, called the Life Formula. It actually can be found on physiciantransformationinstitute.com. Halfway down, you can access the Life Formula, where sequential questioning the AI, so it's able to, it's almost like a therapist, if you will, right? It's able to kind of tease out what your subconscious thoughts are. And now that's turning into a new company called superconscious.io, which is a website you can go to, which is sort of our direct-to-consumer version as well. And so the AI that we see right here, we don't want it to be at the mercy of these large companies, whether it's Meta or whether it's OpenAI, et cetera, et cetera. There are ways that we can utilize this for the better good. And in healthcare is a really brilliant time to utilize these AI systems.
So for those of us that don't speak AI, so what you're saying is these hallucinations are basically ways that AI would make up answers.
Yes.
And that's the fear space, is that
Yes.
AI is going to make up the answers.
Correct.
So we are finding ways now with AI to eliminate that hallucination, that thing that is the made-up space.
It's getting there.
It's getting there.
Almost perfect.
That's so good. And almost
Yeah.
perfect is so, what I think people need to be aware of is so close to perfect is better than a lot of human error. You know, providers that are on for 12-hour shifts or longer, or they've, you know, their brain is in a bunch of different places with different patients.
Well, I made a huge error yesterday. So I made a huge error yesterday because I was going to order an imaging that's already been done, but it was just tucked away in the data somewhere, right? But the patient has some mild dementia, so the patient doesn't know what's been done. Mm-hmm. If I were to order it again, the patient would expose to more radiation, mm-hmm. and guess what? Medicare is going to deny coverage, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're not going to cover this, and why did you order this imaging, right? But because the AI is already grounded or learned from the patient's data, is able to stop me and say, hey, by the way, this was done 11 months ago. I'm like, oh, thanks AI. I appreciate that, right?
That's great.
And so I'm making errors on a day-to-day basis, but it's actually being picked up. Now, I have no problem making errors as long as I learn from it. And I'm learning that the reliance on technology, there's nothing wrong with it. And it's not going to replace any jobs. I'll tell you that right now. It's not going to replace any jobs. It'll actually create more jobs and elevate all our roles within the healthcare system, whether it's a medical assistant, front desk, back office, billing, or myself. It elevates all our roles.
And there will be some training involved. I know that for all of us in the technology, especially those of us that are a little older, you get us in a training space with technology and we kick and scream a little bit, but the training seems acceptable, doable?
It's actually really easy. It's very intuitive, and we have to see the AI as an all-knowing body, if you will, and we have to not ask it questions that are below what it actually is. And as my friend puts it, Dr. Hari Prasad, you have to treat the AI like you're seeking out a guru at the top of a mountain in the Himalayas. You can ask it one question. What would you ask? You're not going to ask it to, hey, give me a recipe on something, right? But what you can ask it is, I would like a recipe because I don't feel like my health is that great. Can you help me explore these feelings that I have, right? And so that's what the intelligent actually is, right? It allows humans to ask higher quality questions. And that's the brilliance of AI coming in.
That's great, and it sounds like you now have a system where it's helping you find and discover those underlying emotions that your patients are experiencing
Yes.
to help it bring to your clinical mind so you can keep it in mind.
Absolutely.
That's
and
great.
it's retrieving valuable data from the medical records. Even though it's hundreds of pages, it presents it in front of me also.
That's great. And how are the patients receiving this?
It's good because what happens is right after we're done, patients are receiving automated AI like summaries. Here's what we talked about. Here's the action items. Here's what we referred you to. And it's actually written in the patient's speaking levels. If the patient's speaking at a 5th grade level, it'll write at a 5th grade level. This patient is a college professor, it'll write at that level as well.
That's really incredible. So they
Yeah.
probably feel more seen, more heard, more taken care of.
And more certain, right? And it probably reduced our messaging and our volume of phone calls by about 50% once you have that impeccable of a summary. And guess what? The whole family's in on it. They can take that to their doctors. And some of the AI summaries are over 30 pages long that we have for people, right?
Wow, yeah.
But it's grouped in order where everything is really easily understandable. And that's what makes healthcare brilliant, is the collaboration. We really have to collaborate more as a healthcare system.
That's incredible. This really truly is the new health. What
It
you're
is.
doing
It
right
is the
now.
new health, yeah.
It is. Well, Dr. Ruan, thank you so much for being with us again today. Will you please let everyone know what you're working on right now and how they can find you?
Yeah, what we're working on is continuous development of the artificial intelligence. So I have a blog on LinkedIn called Rebuilding Healthcare. My clinic practice is Texas Center for LifestyleMedicine.org. You can find me on LinkedIn as well as Instagram. Just search my name, Cheng Ruan, MD. And for those physicians who want to know about AI, we have a whole online course on it with hours of content at physiciantransformationinstitute.com.
That's incredible. Thank you so much, Dr. Ruan, for being with us again today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us for the New Health. And please join us again next week when Dr. Ruan will be back for his last episode with us. We'll see you then.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.